Everybody, I'm Elena G and welcome to my YouTube channel. Make sure that you guys subscribe and like below. I really appreciate it. It just helps me out. Today I'm going to be discussing my life story. I do have a life story pinned at the top of my page on Facebook, on Life of Elena G's Facebook. But there is some things to discuss on my last story, and I just wanted an up-to-date one because the last one that I did was July of 2019. Been asked that I probably didn't address it in my last video, or I just forgot to mention. So I'm going to be discussing it on this video, so make sure you guys like and subscribe down below so that way we can get started. All right, so my name is Elena G, and the G is my dad's last name. I don't mention it because I just don't do it. But I was born on May 9th, and I am 29 plus 2. I don't like to say my age because a girl likes to live in denial. Anyway, so I am a mother of 3 kids, and I have a son named Dominic, who is my oldest, a daughter named Adriana, and a youngest named Azriela. And they are 14, 10, and 2. So let's get started about all these questions. So I was born with no arms, and that's the only disability that I have. I don't consider myself to have a disability. I consider myself to have another ability because I am able. I might do things different, but I am able. I am the only child between my mom and dad. My parents have other children from previous families. I am closest, and I only talk to one sibling, and that is my sister on my mom's side. I do bring up my sister on my lives. I do bring her on, and her name is Joanne. She is like my oldest sister, and she literally is like my best friend. We do everything together. My sister's been there for a lot of hard times in my life. I don't know how I did this story video before because I'm nervous all over again and nobody's watching me live. I was born and raised in Austin, Texas. I was born on May 9th. I am a stubborn Taurus. And my mom, a thyroid disorder for like over 30 something years. And my mom and my dad were together for about 4 years before they got pregnant with me. So the doctors told my mom that this pregnancy wasn't a really good, healthy pregnancy, that she should think about, aborting me. And my mom was like, well, what's wrong? And they didn't really tell her what was wrong, like if it was a mental disability, if there was something like due to her health or like physical disability, nothing. They never said anything to my mom. And my mom was like, well, I'm not going to get an abortion. My dad wanted a little girl so bad. I came out a little girl, and obviously. And the day that I was born, my mom was a little like upset, like, well, not a little, but she was really upset the way I was born because, I know she was told like, how this complicated this pregnancy would be, but I don't think she was mentally prepared for like how I was born. And my mom was crying and scared, not knowing what to do, and like, blaming on herself. And I was caused by her with her thyroid after she took a medication. It was a strong medication that was in her system, and I believe she didn't know that she was pregnant with me, nor did they give her a pregnancy test. I believe that medication no longer exists. So when my dad saw me, my mom was crying, and my dad was like, ya no llores, like don't cry no more, like it's okay. I know she doesn't have her manitas, which is her hands, but we'll figure it out. About 3 months, my mom started putting like little utensils, like forks, or like, well, not makeup brushes, because obviously a girl can pick up makeup brushes, but my mom would put items between my toes and move my foot around close to my face. And so that's where I learned my flexibility. And I remember when I was about 2 or 3 years old, my parents would take pictures of me, and they would take pictures of me eating applesauce. And I'm sitting there, I look back on the pictures when I was a teenager, and I was like, why are they like taking pictures of me eating applesauce? Like, what's the big deal? But I get it now. As a mother, and as that I'm older, I get why they were so happy to see me using a spoon eating out of an applesauce. So yes, I can feed myself. My parents didn't put me into therapy until maybe I was like 3 years old. Physical therapy. I remember they were trying to introduce me to prosthetics. And I didn't get introduced into prosthetics until maybe I was about 5 years old. And these prosthetics really didn't do anything for me. They just were heavy. It was a big brace. I was uncomfortable. And at that time, when I was 5 years old, I was kind of like, this is not for me. You know what I mean? Like, this is just introduced to me late. Like, I'm already used to using my feet as my hands. This is all I've ever known. I didn't go to pre-K as a child, but I did go to kindergarten. And when my mom took me to get enrolled in school, they were kind of iffy about like how they would help me in school. And I remember my mom was like, no, she can do it. She can do it. Like, you don't have to really limit her on her needs. Like, just tell her right now, like, draw, like, have her write right now. And I still remember, I don't know, it's still fuzzy, but I remember in kindergarten, they gave me chalk on a little chalkboard and put it on the floor, those small chalkboards. And I remember writing A, B, C, D, like I was just in there writing, and my mom was like, she can do it. She can, just trust me. Like, I've been teaching her. Nobody else taught her but myself at home. And so they were like, okay. We'll put her in regular classes, and we'll just give her an assistant, and the assistant will help her like grab her lunch, if she needs something to like open or like cut something, or if she needs help writing, if she gets tired, or the bathroom, because then I wasn't trained yet like how to go to the bathroom by myself. I didn't teach myself how to take myself to the bathroom until I was about 10 years old. And I did that all on my own because honestly, my dad was a lot older when my dad had me. My dad was, in his mid 50s when my dad had me. And I remember my mom having to work because my parents owned their own cleaning business, and it was a very successful business. So my mom was always gone working. Well, both my parents were. And that's why my sister and I have gained such a close relationship. I didn't want to ask my dad to help me to the bathroom at 10 years old. I was embarrassed. I mean, like, who wouldn't be, right? You're 10 years old, you're a girl, you have to ask your dad to the bathroom. A lot of people would have different perceptions on this, but at that time, that was where my mindset was, So I literally would grab hooks, and I would grab the hooks to help myself pull up, pull down. Now, I do get asked personal questions like, how do you wipe? How do you do that? First of all, it's not anyone's business. I feel like if you're not in my position, or if you're not going to do it for me, then please do not ask. But just know that I can do it myself. If I can do my makeup and do all the things that I try showing as much as I can on live or on my YouTube channel, just know that I have literally learned and adapted to being the most independent that I can be. And I am doing well. So, like I said, it's not anyone's business. I think some people try to get a lot personal in other people's lives, and they think that they should know every single detail, and that's not okay. We are all entitled to our own type of privacy. So as a kid, I did go to school. I got treated normal. I didn't get bullied, to be honest. I had really good amount of friends. My teachers were incredible. They literally try to make every sport activity to be easy for me. I learned how to play basketball. I learned how to play football. I learned how to play volleyball. I suck at tennis though. Like, tennis is not my sport, but I'm really, really good at soccer, dodgeball, all that. So I literally learned how to do any of that. I did get some special scissors as a kid. They made me some special scissors where they clipped it onto a board and I cut, but that was more complicated. I am good with scissors without no special equipment. When I was 10 years old, I got diagnosed with scoliosis. And every year I had to go to Dallas to a children's hospital. They just make sure I was doing okay and everything. But one day, they discovered that I ended up having scoliosis. And so then they talked to my parents about trying to schedule to having back surgery. So they were discussing with my parents about scheduling to have like back surgery. And about a few months later, I ended up having my scoliosis surgery in July of 99. And I remember when I had scoliosis surgery, I thought I was going to walk out with one scar on my spine and that was it. But no, I walked out with 4. And it's very traumatizing as a child to walk out at 11 years old with like 4 scars on your back and your front, and it was just too much for me to handle at that moment. My lung collapsed during back surgery, so they had to turn me over and open me up in the front, and it was just too much. That's why I'm claustrophobic, and sometimes I'm just always out of breath. It's because of the time when my lung collapsed, and I still have trouble with it. They said, well, you're not going to be able to walk out of the bed until maybe like a week after surgery, and you're not going to leave the hospital for like another 3 weeks. And I was homesick because I had the surgery in Dallas, and I lived like 4 hours away. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. So I remember when I remember the day after surgery, I literally had them help me get out of bed. I got out of bed and I left the hospital within 8 days. When I went to junior high, the kids didn't make me feel different, but I felt different. And so it was just one of those things where I was starting to feel a little insecure, wondering if I was gonna ever date, just little things like that. And I think I just started putting myself down, like, no one else did that to me but myself, and I never got teased in school, thankfully. Everyone was just so accepting, either you like me, you like me. If you didn't care to be around me, then you didn't want to be around me. When I went to high school, it was a lot better. I went to school with a bunch of my friends that I've had since elementary school, and I was dating, and I dated a few actually in high school. My dad, was like my biggest supporter. He was always involved in my school activities. My mom speaks Spanish, so my mom was like, oh, well, let your dad handle all that stuff. If you guys need me, just call me. But they were always working. My parents were always busy working. I remember when my dad got diagnosed. I remember when my dad got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I was 16 years old, and it was about a week. I don't want to cry again. It was about a week after my 16th birthday when he got diagnosed. So about a week after my 16th birthday, my dad got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Mom said he wasn't acting normal. He wasn't being himself. I remember when my dad got diagnosed, I literally thought that my dad was gonna like be okay. My dad was a strong man. My dad was older. My dad was 69. I don't know. To you, when you see your dad, you see him as your rock, you know what I mean? Like your security, and that's how I felt about my dad, and I thought everything was gonna be okay. So I decided that summer, which was a month after my 16th birthday, I decided to get a summer job through my school. They helped me get a part-time job as a counselor for children with disabilities. And I helped counsel kids that had mental disabilities, physical disabilities. And I was 16 years old doing this. And I did it because I didn't want my dad to worry about, like, if I needed anything, if I needed clothes, if I needed food, if I needed book supplies. Because I was that summer, and I didn't want him to worry about my junior year, and my dad stopped working. My mom and my sisters had taken over and started working for my dad. So my mom would take me to work in the morning, and then I would get out. My mom would pick me up, and then she would take me home. And when my mom would take me home, I would literally take care of my dad. I would spoon feed my dad. I would walk him to the bathroom and having to hold him. My dad was 6'1", and he was 190 pounds. When he was further in his diagnosis, my dad was 90 pounds, 6'1". And I, at the time, was like 80 something pounds. I was a small girl, and I was 5'0". So I literally took care of my dad, and I didn't understand why my dad like wasn't able to eat right, wasn't able to swallow, and I just found out like later on my dad ended up having a tumor. He ended up having a tumor down his throat. Sorry, I don't want to cry about this again. I don't know why. It's just every time I talk about my dad, as you can tell, my dad is the most sensitive subject. I just wanted him to be okay. never want to see your loved one suffering, and especially like someone that you love so dear, you know, you just don't want to see them suffer. And he got diagnosed in May. About a few days later, my dad wasn't doing so well, and I remember my mom and my sister ended up calling the ambulance, and my aunt was there, and I remember my dad was in so much pain, and I remember the paramedics asking me if I wanted my dad resuscitated if he passes in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. I remember looking in the doorway and I was so confused, and I was like, what the hell does that mean? You know, what does that, I was like, what does that even mean? She's like, it means bring him back. And I was like, I remember looking at my dad, and my dad was in pain, and I was just like, no. It was kind of hard for me making a decision like that about my dad at 16 years old, you know? I still to this day didn't understand why they never asked my mom, my sister, my aunts, who were the adults. I guess I was the one that was near them at that moment. A lot of people tell me, like, you made the right decision, and I know I did. But I hate it. I lost my dad on August 31st, 2004, which is the 3 months that my dad was given. I went into a deep depression, and I was just not myself. I acted out. I was just being like a regular teenager at the time that went through something, you know, or going through some type of depression. I went through some counseling at school for my dad's loss, but at that point I was kind of like not trying to hear it, because whatever anyone could say or do at that time, it would not bring him back. I got pregnant about a few months after my dad passed, and I had my son. I had my son at 17, and my son was born the day after my dad's 1 year anniversary of my dad's passing. I wasn't due for another 6 weeks, and my son came early. I feel like my son saved my life, because my son came in my life, my mom's life, my sister's life, during a time where we were just lost without my dad. Honestly, anything we needed or anything that was going on in our lives, my dad basically took care of it, you know? The father of my son was very actively involved in our life, and he was just such a good help. You know, we were both very young when we had our son. We ended up having a daughter 3 years later. I didn't have a hard time raising my kids. I already had known how to change babies' diapers and make babies' bottles. My sister had a son, and he is older, and I helped her take care of him when he was an infant, when I was younger. So I already had known like how to take care of smaller kids, so I wasn't worried about taking care of my own. I always say, like, you know, don't ever be ashamed to ask for help. I was with my ex for 9.5 years. We were not married. He also didn't believe in marriage. But he was a very good father. And we have a really good relationship now. We are better now as friends than we were when we were together. Like, we weren't good together, but we're better as friends. So we're doing good. We just had a very like, we had to grow up so fast. We both wanted two different types of things in life, and we went through a lot of stuff. So I think that just made us grow apart. Um, about maybe a year after me and my ex broke up, I ended up meeting my fiance. Robert, which we met on Tinder online. It was kind of funny how that happened. I do talk about a little bit, of our story about that on Facebook. But we met, and he knew from the start that I was born this way. He saw my pictures. He was nervous. Trying to figure out, he was like looking up on YouTube, like people like myself, like how they do things. So he didn't feel like, he was going to say or do something to make me feel uncomfortable or, but we literally hit it off so well. He's a very good stepdad. He's a Marine vet, and my fiance is a good father. We have a baby now together. Our baby just turned 2 just a few days ago. We have a little girl, and he's just very, very attentive to all my kids. So my ex and my fiance do get along, which is great. 'Cause a co-parenting example in front of my kids. I do get asked a lot of questions, and I'm gonna try to cover most of these questions as much as I can, so bear with me. Can you write? Yes, I can write. I do show you guys in a YouTube video of how I can write, how I can type, and how I can use the cell phone. So yes, I can text and do all that, and I do have a video on it, so you're more than welcome to check out my YouTube video. And I can do it with my toes. I don't need to use any other body mechanics or anything to do anything. I usually just use my feet for everything, or I grab something with my neck. Like right now, I can grab my drink and be like this or whatever. But yeah, I can do that. Can I, take a sip of my drink? Well, obviously you guys can see I could take a sip of my drink. I normally need a straw or like a handle, but even if it wasn't a straw or a handle, I don't really have anything here in front of me. But say if this was a cup, it's not a cup, it's my which is not a cup, it holds my brushes, but I can hold something like that with my toes. Yes, I can feed myself. I can grab a utensil, grab a fork, grab a spoon, and feed myself. Yes, I do use my feet out in public. I do believe in cleaning your hands, just like right now what we're going through right now in the world. Just as much people need to clean their hands as just as much as I've been cleaning my feet this entire time before everything happened. It's really annoying when people are like, well, do you wash your feet? Do you blah, 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 blah? I'm like, yes. Do you wash your hands? Do you wash yours? Because my feet are my hands. I've been told all my life that my feet are my hands and to take care of them, because you are going to be pulling them out, you're going to have to clean them. But yes, I do use them. Nobody has ever treated me different or been mean to me or rude to me at a restaurant, in the stores, at the malls, at the clubs, at the bars, birthday parties. No one has ever made me feel uncomfortable or said anything rude to me. Everyone's always been kind, would either buy my meal, or they'll be like, yes, mama, do your thing. You're taking care of you. You're tending to your kids. For a long time, I did suffer from a lot of anxiety, like whipping out my foot and like showing people how I can do this and how I can do that, or writing a piece of paper at a doctor's office. But I'm like, you know what? I'm doing the best that I can to take care of me. I'm not asking for anyone's help. I'm literally just trying to live my day as normal as possible. I'm tending to my kids, like I can't be worried about the person next to me, how they're going to feel uncomfortable. I have to do what I need to do to survive, But my feet are my hands, and I do treat them as my hands, and I do take great care of them. I get pedis every 3 weeks. Right now I can't, but I have to do my own nails. But yes, I can paint my own nails. I just like to get, pampered. I used to be a Ashiatsu massage therapist. I can cook. I normally do some cooking lives on Facebook, and I hop on the counter. I grab a chair and I jump on and hop on the counter, and I do wash before doing all this stuff. So I have to do all these like special things, and it's hard to cook in my kitchen because my kitchen is older. My house is a lot older, so I'm a little squished. So one day, like, when we buy a new house, I would like to customize a kitchen that's easy for me to cook. But I do cook, and I do cook for my family. I do wash dishes. I do laundry. I do post as much as YouTube videos where I can show you guys more in detail how I do things. So you're more than welcome to check out my YouTube videos. I can push a stroller. I have a video on that as well. Same thing with the card. I can, you know, use a debit card out in a restaurant. Signature when I do go out a restaurant. I do use a credit card when I use the, you know, self checkout or when I'm like checking out. I normally don't use my feet a lot out in public when I'm like grocery shop grocery shopping or like anything like that, because I normally always have someone next to me. But I have done it several times, and I do swipe my own card. I do enter the, you know, the little buttons, you know, and enter my code. I do all of that. You know, I can grab my foot out, grab something from the shelf, and stick it in the cart, you know. But like I said, most of the time I'm not alone. I can drive. I literally had my own car. I had a Scion TC, which was my baby, my little sports car. But a lot of things went wrong with it. Like, I was having a lot of issues with it. So I decided not to have a car for now. Our city's very packed right now with a lot of people. And for me to feel safe, I just rather, like, when we do buy our own home, I'd rather, like, move out of the country. So there's not a lot of cars and traffic. And I feel safe with my kids. But I can drive. I do 1 foot on the gas and brake, which is my left, and then 1 foot on the wheel, you know, to like steer the wheel. And every time I literally had to, like, you know, put on a signal, my foot would be on the wheel, and then I would just turn my foot down, well, without moving the wheel, obviously, pop it on, and then drive. So it literally was not hard. I didn't need no special accommodations for my car, nothing. I literally just drive as normal as I can. A girl sometimes need a booster seat though, because I'm short though. So yeah, I'm 5'0". I can put on my own seatbelt. I literally can just go loop, or and put on my seatbelt. And also, I do have a YouTube video on that too. So I'm actually happy that I'm able to have this YouTube, so that way I can show you guys a little more detail how to do this. I do brush my own hair. I know how to straighten my hair. I do curl my hair, but it has to have a clamp on the curling iron, so that way I can hold the hair and curl it. But I just cannot use a wand by myself, because obviously you need 2 limbs to curl your hair with a wand. So I do have like someone else help me do that. But I can straighten my hair. I can curl my hair with a regular curling iron. I can brush my hair. I can wash my hair. I mean, if I'm this flexible as it is, and like I can do this, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys can figure out how I can wash my hair just seeing that. I can shave. I do shave myself. Learned how to be independent because I just wanted to do everything like everybody else, you know? I just didn't want to not feel included, and I wanted to do what, I was that nosy child growing up, so I wanted to do what everyone else was doing. I do my own laundry, and I also have a YouTube on that as well. I do brush my own teeth. I literally am pretty flexible, and I have very good balance. A lot of people didn't realize how great balance I have until they started watching me more and more and more. But I can run, I can walk, I can jump. I don't like to jump, but I can jump. The only thing that I cannot do is I cannot put my hair in a ponytail. It is kind of hard for me to, like, my toes to do all that by itself. So I do ask for someone's help, like my family member, my friends, or my daughter. She comes and helps me. My 10-year-old is very, very helpful. But like I said, there's some things that I don't need help with. I can put on my own shirt. I have gone live, cutting up t-shirts with scissors and showing someone how I could put the shirt on over another shirt and take it off, and they're just like, oh wow, she can do that. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. And yes, I can put on my own bra. I can, pull up and pull down my own pants. Like I said, I just need my own little hooks I have at home on the wall, and there's hooks that helps me pull up and pull down, and it's pretty easy. I mean, if it has zipper and buttons, I normally don't mess with those so much, but I also buy some that are like stretchy enough so that way it's still able to pull up and pull down, if that makes sense. When I started Facebook Lives, I wanted to start Facebook Lives because I literally got inspired from seeing all these beautiful influencers, and I wanted to learn how to do my makeup so bad, especially my lashes. Like, I really wanted to learn how to do my own lashes. I didn't want to pay someone to do my makeup every time I wanted it done. Look up to a lot of influencers on Facebook and YouTube, and I just started doing my own makeup and slowly learning. Like, I don't feel like I'm a pro yet. I still struggle, but I think I have progressed since when I first started makeup. But I literally started these lives because I wanted to show people how I was able to like brush my hair, take care of my infant. My baby was 4 months when I started lives in groups, and my friends were very encouraging, and they literally said, you can do this, you can do lives. So like I started lives and I started my own page, and now we are at where we're at right now. Which, shout out to my friends and family for literally believing in me when I didn't. I feel like I am the one who stopped myself from doing a lot of things because I was too worried about what someone was gonna think. And you know, we do run into those type of people that try to like say mean things or put you down, or don't think of you as a human being, but you are human. You do matter, and you are just as important as anybody else. You know, not all of us are born the same, and that's okay. We're all going to look different, but just know that, you know, that's what makes us unique. I love my kids very, very much. My mom is active in our lives. My mom is a great help. We bump heads. My mom and I bump heads most of the time, but at the end of the day, I love my mom because she's the only parent I have left, and I don't take life for granted. I always say we only have one life to live, and we got to make the best of it. You know, am I gonna live in this depression and anxiety that stops me from doing what I want to do, or do I set an example for my children and show them that anything is possible if you put your mind to it? I get asked this question about 50-60% of the time on Facebook, on Instagram. I forgot to mention this on my last life story, but I am going to talk about it right now. Um, so, I hate talking about it, but I'm only going to address it because I'm getting tired of being asked it. So yeah. So when I was a teenager, I was on a show. I will not mention the name of the show, and I do it because, for one, I was underage. Two, I was under contract, so I do not discuss about it. The reason why I don't discuss it is because for those reasons, and also I felt like my story wasn't really portrayed exactly how I was told it was going to be portrayed. And that's the reason why I refuse to go on shows and be like, Elena, you know, can we like film you and edit and blah blah blah. I'm like, no, if I'm going to talk about my story or any of that kind, I'd rather do it myself. You know, I'd rather be able to tell my story how I am comfortable of telling my story. I don't want someone to edit my life story. I don't want my story to sound like I was like bullied. I don't want my story to sound like, you know, poor me, to not be told exactly how to dress. So, you know, I don't like to talk about that. If you see it, that's great. Just don't tag me in it. I don't want to know about it. Just know that I'm telling the best way I can with my story videos. Did I ever struggle dating? No, never struggled dating. I've never had that problem. A lot of people would probably think it would be weird or awkward, but like, no, I mean, like, dating is just like normal as everybody else. I mean, the guys would know like how I was born, and they're like, okay, well, that's fine. Like, you're independent, you're doing your own thing, that's peachy. So, no, I never had a problem. But thank you so much to everyone that literally has followed, you know, has subscribed, who has liked, who has shared, who has used my codes. I greatly appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Just showing so much love and support towards me and the things that I'm doing. It's just so mind-blowing having so many people out there that actually support you, and it's just so touching. Like, I'm very appreciative. Thank you so much for helping me get through this and my anxiety. I feel like I'm getting confident little by little. I was very scared to do lives because I was scared what people were going to comment or what they were going to say. They would like say something inappropriate or very they would be very invasive, and I just wanted to not do lives anymore because it takes a toll out of me. Like, I think people forget that just because you're live, you're not going to get notified these new comments that pop up on these older videos, or you're not going to be you're not going to be shown these things, or they don't consider you as a human, and I am human. I try to keep it real with you guys, and I try to show you guys my family life as much as I can. and how I'm able to do things. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being there, being supportive, helping me get through this anxiety. If you struggle with anxiety, just know that you're not alone. I love you guys. Thank you for hearing my story. And I will see you guys on my next YouTube video. So make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. I love you guys. Bye. Mwah.